Alrighty, it is 11 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and get started here with our Monday morning briefing for January 12th. Before I get into it, I guess I will give a quick overview of the weather pattern for the next week. So starting off with some pretty dry conditions, we've got high pressure building in from the west-southwest there, and staying pretty dry for the first half of the week at least. And then as we get into the later half of the week and into the weekend, looking at a bit more of an active pattern, we've got a series of cold fronts set to come through the area, bring us some colder air and potentially a few chances at some precip, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. Overall, though, looking fairly dry. So this is the amount of precip we're expecting for the next 7 days, and as you can see, it's pretty low. Generally, less than a quarter of an inch across the entire area. So overall pattern is fairly dry for the next week. I did want to talk about potential for snow. Sorry. Okay. Apologies there. Okay, so I wanted to talk about potential for some snow. Timing would be like Thursday night into early Friday morning for this. However, models have trended a lot drier and a lot lower as far as any chance of snow during that period would be. So this is the probability of seeing a tenth of an inch or more of snow. And as you can see, it's pretty low across the area. You know, maybe across the far north, you've got like the 20 to 30% chance, but pretty much for everywhere across the area, for the most part, looking at less than 20% chance of snow and a pretty low chance of any impacts from that snow. Looking at an overview of temperatures and precip for the week. So starting at the first chunk of this week, looking at cooler but seasonable temperatures. Looking at upper 40s into the mid 50s through the midweek time period. Then Thursday into Friday, that's when those cold fronts start to come through the area, and that's when we get these colder temperatures, seeing highs in some places not even leaving the 30s. And then with those overnight lows, seasonably cold for the first part of the week, hovering around or just under freezing. But then when we get into the weekend, that's when we're looking at those colder overnight temps with some spots in the upper teens to low 20s. As far as precip timing goes, so again, dry for the first part of the week, and then into that Thursday time frame, that's when we're looking at the potential for some light rain and maybe some very, very low end accumulations of potentially snow Thursday night. And then going into the weekend, a little uncertain at this point, but there is some low end chances for some precip. Looking ahead to next week, those below normal chilly temperatures look like they're going to stick around for a little while, and also looking like it's going to be overall pretty dry next week as well. Alrighty, switching gears to the marine forecast. It's pretty windy yesterday, but we've got improving conditions today across the area. Maybe some return of a little bit of gustiness in the bay, perhaps, for tomorrow and tomorrow night. And then we're really looking at that Thursday into Friday for those small craft conditions to return in association with those cold fronts. an overview of the the wind speed forecast. So, looking at below small craft today and tomorrow, and then Tuesday night, maybe touching that small craft criteria, particularly in the bay. And then a little bit of a lull, and then as we get as that cold air comes in behind that cold front, that's when we're going to get those stronger winds Thursday night into Friday. As far as wave height goes, you've got those lower end values, the 1 to 3 feet for the first half of the week, and then as those winds come up, so will the wave heights, getting up towards 5 and maybe 6 feet. And then this is just another look at wave heights with potentially later in the week seeing those 6 and maybe 7 feet out at the waters further out. All right, and that is all I have for the briefing. I'll pause on this slide with just some highlights of the week. So cooler, drier, potentially some rain or some very light snow later in the week. But I'll pause here and I will take questions. And everyone have a nice week, and we'll talk to you on Thursday.